Hey
Hi,
everyone.
So we are here at Deb's Accidental Art again.
So excited.
I actually can't
So
wait.
excited.
Obviously I'm so excited for all the interviews, but Deb was just so sweet, and like being able to sit down and just doodle and draw and Zentangle is so fun. So
It really is. And like I think we're doing something a little different today, if I'm not mistaken. So keep your eyes peeled. It's gonna be super cool and zen and relaxing, and we're gonna make beautiful art.
yes.
So let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We are here today with Deb's Accidental Art. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to see you both again.
We're so glad to be here. We're really excited. How have you been? How are things?
Good. It's been a really hectic spring, actually. And now going into my kind of down season because people want to be outside doing things outside. And they don't necessarily want to do art indoors. So it'll start to quieten down after this month.
Well, we're really excited to do some art indoors today with you. We're going to be doing a class.
We are. We're going to do the black tiles class, which kind of traditionally for me anyway is the second class that I would teach if you had come to me to take classes on your own. So it kind of is the positive negative aspect of Zentangle. So last time we worked on white tiles with a black pen, right? This time we're going to work on black paper with a white pen. So super cool to see how the patterns react on that paper. And it adds supplies to your kit, which we gradually want to do is just kind of add things to your kit so you can combine them all together. And yeah, it's just super fun.
I'm excited.
Awesome. Okay, so do you want to take a peek at what's in your little kit there?
Yes.
Open it up. And so if you were a customer coming to my class, this is what you would get.
Oh.
And when I used to teach more in person, this is exactly the setting we would have as well. You'd come to my home and you'd sit at the table and we would tangle together. So you're getting the real in-person experience. I always start classes in person, online, always with the breathing. Again, part of the method, right? So I close my eyes. I encourage you to do what feels right for your body. I like to start with my feet flat on the floor, but everyone sits differently in a chair. So whatever is most comfortable for you. I like to press my back up against the back of the chair, and I like to just loosely place my hands on my thighs, palm down if you want. And then I try to focus on relaxing my shoulders because I hold all my tension in my shoulders when I'm feeling stressed. So I often have to really think about loosening that up. And then I just want you to focus on some nice deep breaths in and out at your pace. And while you're doing that, I want you to think of something that you're grateful for today. And I'm just grateful to see you both back in Fort St. John and to spend time with me doing the Zentangle method. Go ahead and open your eyes when you're ready. I also like to do a little bit, do you remember that from last time? A little bit of hands kind of stretching, clenching, unclenching, and wiggling them around, and then a big stretch over my head, and usually my back goes crack, 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 crack. And then down and around, and then roll the shoulders exactly like Rochelle, you're already
I was ready for this.
And as just part of my practice, and I do that every time I sit down to tangle, and always incorporate it into my classes too. And I think it just puts you in the right mindset for what we're going to do. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to start with our pencil. Now this time it's the white one, right? Which is the reverse of the white tiles on black. I'll just maybe slide that off to the side. And just kind of get a feel for it on the back of your towel. Just softly kind of scratch it into the paper a little bit. And you might even smudge it with your finger and just see how it kind of smudges a little bit. Okay. And we're going to start on the front of the towel with our 4 corners. Again, the steps of the Zentangle method, right? Is we're going to start with a dot in each corner. Do you remember what that kind of signifies? A little test for you.
So like the border?
It's going to start our border, but as soon as you have that dot on there, you no longer have a blank page. And sometimes starting is the hardest part. Yes. Okay. So I like to put a little dot in one corner with the pencil, turn the tile to meet my hand, because it's all about creating muscle memory as well. So I'm going to turn my tile each time, leave my hand in kind of that same position. And then the next step, Rochelle, is what you were talking about, the actual creating of the border,
Mhm.
right? Which is like a little frame for our art. We do it in pencil because then if we don't want to abide by it, it's not a hard stop, right? Like we
Okay.
can go over it if we want, or we can change it if we want.
Mhm.
And so by doing it in pencil, then it's just a suggestion, right?
Yeah.
It's not a brick wall.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're going to join those together however you like. They can have a little curve to them if you like. You can do them a little straighter if you wish. Again, I like to turn my tile to meet my hand. And I have found that I can draw a better line if I draw it towards myself. Now we're going to just repeat our string that we did the first time, and we did the letter Z, if you remember,
Mhm.
on our black or white tiles, because it's just kind of cool to see how they look next to each other, even if you had brought them back to see how they kind of work together with that same string.
Mhm.
So if you remember, we went kind of from the middle on the left side with a curved line up to the top about the middle, so it's like a little sun in the corner. So we're going to do a couple that probably you might remember a little bit, and then we're going to shake them up a little bit and to make them a little bit different. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of a variation on printemps, which was the spiral
Mhm.
that we did, but we're going to do it in a grid manner today. Okay, so a
Oh.
grid has our boxes or our
Yeah.
squares, right? Okay, so you're going to pick one of the four because you have that choice, right, as to where you're going to make your grid. And doesn't matter which one. And I like to hold my pen as upright as I can. I like to take my time with that line. And if you're going over the pencil, it might take a second for it to get going because it is going to pick up some of the crumbs of that pencil. But I'm going to use that border line to make my first grid line. And so this kind of take on printemps is called tortica. And tortica means kind of tortoise. It looks a bit like a tortoise shell. So we're going to do printemps a different way. We're going to go outside in instead of inside out.
Ooh.
And they're going to fit inside these boxes. And it kind of represents a tortoise shell. Okay, so go ahead on your paper and take your time. And squish that spiral in.
So you've had a busy time since we've been gone.
Yes.
Yeah. How would you say your art has changed, or I guess grown with you since we last saw you?
Well, I kind of decided last year the fall of last year, to go back to more white on black, actually. And so some of the tiles that I have here, these white tiles, are what I'm calling my Back to Our Roots classes. For one reason, I was kind of getting a little burnt out. It is hard coming up with classes that are unique all the time.
Yeah.
And so Zentangle, started with the white paper and the black and just simple designs. And I kind of went back to that. And so I've been offering 1 hour classes instead of 2 hour. This would be a 2 or 3 hour class normally. The white tile classes, I've just kept really simple supplies for my students and 1 or 2 tangles. And so that was a big change for me, rather than going with the really, ornate and heavily designed tiles. I still do those. But at least once a month, I've been trying to offer the Back to Our Roots classes, and they've been popular. People are enjoying that little bit of Zen. Yesterday, I did one for Mother's Day, and
Oh, that's so
that was
nice.
really nice. Just to sit for an hour and just breathe and draw those lines. So that's been a nice positive change, I think. And it coincided with the 20th anniversary of Zentangle, where really that's kind of their thing too, right? Is going back to the basics, back to our roots is what I call it. So,
That's amazing.
yeah.
And that's helped you, I guess, kind of recenter and refocus.
Very much so, yeah. I put a lot of pressure on myself to come up with something original and unique, and it does create some stress, and that's the anti-Zentangle,
I was
right?
gonna say, yeah.
Yes, it's not supposed to be stressful. So sometimes it's good just to go back to, let's just randomly choose a pattern and maybe just put one pattern on the tile, or just randomly choose 2 and put those on a tile. And so that's been really good for me, I think.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. That's incredible.
Thanks. How's that coming?
Good.
Look at the texture. Again, you need to hold it at arm's length, right? To really
Yes,
appreciate it. And
looks awesome.
turn it around, right? But look how different again they look,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's looks so different.
Very different.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love the texture of that one. That was just
Mhm.
right up my alley. Okay, so tortica. So then let's learn something new. So that was kind of a bit of new, but also some familiar, right?
Mhm.
Just to get warmed up and good to go. So let's do something that's a little bit new. So there is a pattern that we call diva dance. And diva dance is this one that looks maybe a little bit like waves, has a little bit of curves to it, a little bit of texture from the bolded inked in areas. And there's a couple different ways of drawing this one. We're going to do the very original first diva dance, which is a line and some bumps, a line and some bumps, a line and some bumps, kind of like crescent moon. Remember the crescent moon bumps?
yeah. Yes.
Okay. So these aren't perfect little half circles. There could be different kind of sizes of bumps. Again, you're going to choose where do you want to put that. So I'm just going to, on that line that I've already drawn, I'm going to do a little bump. And I'm going to ink it in. Again, when I ink in with the white, I'm very, very barely touching the paper and creating a nice solid little bump there. Okay. I might leave a little gap and then maybe make a bigger one. After I do the bumps, I add another aura. Does that make sense?
Yes. Bumps and aura.
Yep. Bumps, aura, bumps, aura. Sometimes I get really fancy with my bumps and I'll add a print top instead of a bump to give it something different to kind of float, have the aura float over. Sometimes I will put tipple. Did we talk about tipple last time? Which are like soap bubbles, little orbs, all kind of touching each other.
I think we
Not sure.
got tipple.
Okay, so tipple is a great filler tangle, and it literally is just an orb that touches another orb. An orb because they're not perfect circles, they're just roundish little guys. And sometimes I'll put those in on my lines,
I love that.
right? And then incorporate your aura over those.
I'm
Right?
doing that.
So that's kind of fun. And it makes it look a little bit kind of seaside-ish almost, like waves instead. So I got to travel twice this year, I guess, not necessarily spring, to do some tangling.
That's exciting.
It
Where'd
was-
you go?
Yeah, so exciting. So I went to Arizona in February.
Wow.
I have a friend that has a home there, and so we had a little mini retreat. She invited some friends. Yeah, it was so much fun.
I actually think I saw that on your Instagram.
Did you? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we had a really good time. And then it feels like I just got back, but it's been a while now. I went to Connecticut to do a Zentangle reunion with other teachers hosted by the founders of Zentangle.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And they call that event Zen Again. And
that's so cute.
Yeah.
They are
So-
so clever.
I
I
know.
love that.
yeah, it was pretty amazing because there were 250 of us
Wow.
in person, all tangling together
Oh,
and
that'd be
meeting
so
each other
special.
often for the first time because there's been so many people since COVID that have
Mhm.
joined in.
Mhm.
And so you might have met them online, but you haven't met them in person. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
that was super cool. And then 150 others online at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty amazing. That was my first one. Some people go every time it's hosted. I think they do it every 2 years. But that was the first time I've been.
That's exciting. So, how was your experience with that?
Amazing. I got to meet a lot of the people I kind of idolize and fangirl over, because
that's so exciting.
we all have our people that,
Yeah.
really inspire us, right?
Of course, yeah.
And may or may not have met them before. So I got to meet a lot and from all over the world. Like it's a very international event.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, some very amazing people. And then we, of course, had some entertainment and some guest speakers that came from Europe. And
Oh, wow.
it's really amazing. And then, of course, Rick and Maria and their family, Molly and Martha, are all amazing people. So
Mm-hmm.
it really, and very much, they feel like rock stars to me. So it's always great to see them. I've only met them all in person when I got certified the first, originally.
Yeah.
And so to meet them again. And Julie, who's a very important part of their staff, just had a baby, and she actually surprised us with a visit. We didn't get to see the baby. Baby was brand spanking new.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fair.
So yeah, baby was behind the scenes. But she came out and said hi to us, and yeah, that was really cool
That is so fun.
that she took the time. Of course, they all live in that area, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
she was able to come in for the day, I think.
What's your preference in tangling? Like, do you prefer to do it by yourself, with few people, with that many people? What are the different experiences? Like, I feel like, because even when we do this, I feel like you feel other people's energy.
You do.
And so
Yeah.
I feel as though when there's so many more people, I'm curious of what that experience is like.
There's always a bit of a hum, right? Like you get a hum in a group when you've got that many people. But what's really kind of shocking and surprising is when you're doing something like this, it gets so quiet.
Yeah.
Right? So even a room full of 250 people, that you always feel that buzz when you're getting into it like this, it's dead. So that always shocks me, right? Is that a room that if you were to say, could you be quiet, please? No one can do it, right? But you get them to hold a pen and put it to paper, and then it's
you
like,
could hear a pin drop.
pretty much, yeah. So that's always really powerful. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a preference. I enjoy all of the things. I enjoy, obviously, teaching in person, tangling in person with people. I love to tangle by myself as well. And yeah, I love all the things. I love all the Zentangle stuff, really.
How do you think the differences then affect your tangling? Like, do you think you're inspired differently when you have other people's energies?
When you're in a big group setting like that, yeah, probably. Because people think of things that you wouldn't necessarily think of, right? And there's a lot of very creative people in the Zentangle world. And so, yes, it's fine to follow, along with the teacher and do exactly what they're doing. But it always blows my mind how other people interpret things. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we could be maybe almost doing the same thing, but not.
Yeah.
And then I look at theirs and I go, wow, I never thought to do that, right?
Yeah.
So often you get up and you walk during breaks, you walk around and see what everyone's doing. And then, you get really inspired. You go, why didn't I think of that? And that is the beauty of Zentangle, is that you're learning basic strokes, basic things, but the way you interpret it and put it together is very unique. And you can be inspired and inspire other people too. So yeah, that's cool. What do you think of that?
So cool. I loved it.
Right? Isn't that fun? And again, holding it at arm's length, right? And we've just put pen to paper. We're going to add some shine kind of with the pencil later, right? And a little bit of layering will be kind of cool too. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place to tangle?
You're sitting in it.
Yeah.
Well, in the winter, that's my favorite place to tangle. In the summer, it's out there.
Yeah, that would be so nice.
Yeah, so we have the nice shaded pergola, and I like to do everything, read out there and drink my coffee in the morning and hang out there. So, but that is that's my spot. That's
I feel so special. I'm honored.
And then when I'm traveling, I found the coolest little niche in the Vancouver International Airport side. Usually, of course, you're sitting like cattle in all of the spots. They've got this quiet corner. And it was all cushioned little partitions.
The blue chair.
Yes, we just saw that
today. I posted about it, I think, on Instagram. Did you find it?
Yeah, we were
That's
there
so
because
funny.
it's the certain gate.
But it's international. How were you there today?
Because we
so I
came
guess
in that
it's-
side.
I guess it's not.
Maybe they have another one in domestic as well.
Because when
They
we
must.
when we were flying here through Vancouver, we saw them and I was like, I want to sit there. That looks comfy.
Yes,
and you're getting your little
and it
like
looked-
nook.
Yeah, so
it's
they
nice.
must have some on
Yes,
domestic
yeah.
side. This was on the international side, so I'd never noticed it before.
Yeah, that's right.
And I had like 5 hours to wait on one of my flights in between. And
Goodness, that's a
so,
long time.
oh my goodness, sitting in those normal chairs is not fun, right? And I
Yeah.
usually get up and walk and get a coffee or water and come back. And,
Mhm.
but I was there for a long time and my phone was dying and it has plugins there too. So
So nice.
I did my phone, I pulled out my tangling stuff, and I sat there by myself for several hours before some of the employees came by. They know it's this nice quiet place too. And so they came and had their lunch and stuff, but it was awesome. And
Yeah.
so in an airport, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
passes
it's
the
very rare to
time.
find that. Yeah.
Yeah, passes the time to tangle in a comfortable spot if you can find her. So then you can keep adding auras. Is really pretty. A nice simple way is just adding, again, trying to add the auras in the similar spot on all of the spaces. Just doing the aura kind of maybe streams of sun coming out from them. Whatever you kind of floats your boat, really. I'm going to do just another strip of auras. And again, some of them will not get as many because the spaces are smaller. Now, when my daughter was home and I used to have to pick her up from school every day, I did a lot of car tangling, I called it. And so my kit would go with me in the car. And Zentangle used to they sell something similar, but it's different. A green box that held a bunch of tiles, a couple pens, your pencil, your sharpener, all the things. And I used it like a tabletop. So it was about this big, about that high. And it went in the car with me. And so I would tangle while I waited for her at school. So.
Yeah, it's a nice way to pass time when you're not on your phone and
exactly,
you're not. Yeah.
Exactly. Because that's what happens, right? If you don't have something creative.
Yeah, you just divert to the phone.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't great things on the phone, but
no, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's a far more relaxing way to, and maybe like engaging way to spend time as well, because otherwise you can kind of end up just, or at least myself, like mindlessly scrolling.
Absolutely.
And then after a point, it's like, what am I even doing?
I know. And we do enough of that throughout the day anyway, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, it was like a little break, and I kind of miss that.
Aww.
But now my daughter's tangling a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so she sends me, and so she's working full time and she's got a stressful job. And so on her days off or sometimes on her swing shift, she does shift work. She'll send me a picture of what she's been tangling.
Oh,
wow.
That's so special.
I absolutely love it. Yeah. So I often share those on my socials too. So you'll sometimes see, my daughter did this one today. So yeah, I love that she's using it as self-care.
Which is, I think, a great way to use it.
Yeah, because a lot of people, you just talk to them and they don't think it's self-care, but even like coming in, and Bridget and I were so excited on the way here.
We
were
talking about it.
It's going to be so
happy.
nice just to sit down and relax and like talk to you. And yeah, we were so excited.
It really, really is. Yeah. It's, it's a very powerful thing, really. And May is mental health wellness month, right?
Yeah.
And so Zentangle actually puts out a bunch of videos on YouTube through the month of May. It won't be the whole month, I don't think, but it's happening right now. Using what we call the bijou tiles, and they're just little 2-inch tiles meant to give you just a few minutes of zen and calm and quiet in your day. And they feature that in May.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so nice. It's always like so, I can't think of the word right now, like, it's always so nice to see people kind of highlight that and not shine away from it and be like, this is something that could help you, and it's not a traditional thing that would help you, but it does help people.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Well, it helped me. So it's, something that's very powerful. And a lot of people that do Zentangle and or that teach it did it for a lot of personal health reasons, whether they were physical or mental health, right? So, and still do for pain management and
yeah, it's something else to focus on. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Oh, that looks so fun. Okay. And just the lines, right?
Yeah,
it's a nice contrast to the circles that are next to it, right? The tortica that's next to it. So
Can
that's
I add
really
lines
cool.
on the end?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can do whatever you want.
I come back like, I regret the lines. Just kidding.
No.
No regrets.
No regrets. No mistakes.
None of that. Just good vibes.
That's right.
So from all of your traveling you did this year, have you learned any new Zentangles?
Oh my goodness, so many. That was part of the Zen Again idea, is they often come out with a new tangle pattern or 5 or 6. So there were several that I haven't really had a huge amount of time to explore that are very interesting. And of course, I never thought to bring any of those out with me.
You can show those after.
Yeah, I can show you after. One of the fun things we did though was kind of pseudo printmaking.
Okay.
Using tangles, which I've always wanted to explore.
That's so cool.
I know, right? And we haven't really talked about fragments, but fragments are little bits of tangles that you combine in different ways and you end up with different patterns. And so that's basically what we did, is we tangled a fragment. They had made kind of print stamps out of foam core and then some kind of a printmaking material to make these little blocks that were 2 inches square, same size as our bijou tiles. And then we used just our pens, actually pencils, to draw on them by pushing that foam in to make the negative space.
Oh, that's so cool.
So cool. I haven't gotten around to playing with it yet. And then using an ink pad then and stamping. And so we made bags with the patterns on it.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Yeah, so remind me to show you. I never thought to bring those down.
Yeah.
We printed on paper, of course,
Mhm.
and tried different ways of turning that tile, right? That
Mhm.
stamp, different ways to get different outcomes.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. So we had done something similar already when I was in Arizona, but
Mhm.
using actual printmaking supplies, carving them.
Oh my goodness.
Carving tangles is a lot harder
Yes,
than
I
I
couldn't
bet.
imagine.
drawing a tangle, right?
Holy Moses.
So when we picked up the pencil and used that to basically emboss, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, again, that aha
new
moment,
world,
right? It was
yeah.
like, oh my goodness, yes, I can see doing that, right? And how fun it was. Anyways, we had a great time playing with that. That was something new that we did. And then, yeah, a couple of new tangles, some new materials.
Mhm. So do you see yourself maybe doing a class?
With the
for that?
printmaking stuff?
Yeah.
Sourcing sometimes the materials for things that are a little
Mhm.
bit different can be difficult. And I haven't even looked into doing it yet. So maybe. That's a definite maybe. You know, I belong to an artist group here in town, and a lot of them are printmakers. So they use the real shebang, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so I do have access to the real printmaking stuff,
Mhm.
just not this kind of pseudo printmaking stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So that's the one version, but we can amp it up, right? By adding some more to it, which this one I threw basically a cross into it like the tangle floors was this kind of diamond shape that's in the middle. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Okay. This one, I was trying to figure out how I did this one. Sometimes you forget how you do something. And it looks like I did triangles instead of squares, is why that one looks different. But you could do another line down the middle and holly that one. And it would look more like this. So let me show you. So if I went right down the middle with another line and then hollied that line, I think that might have been how I did it.
Yeah.
And then I can alternate. So then
Oh,
go
do
the
the
opposite direction and just alternate, I think might be kind of fun.
Wow. I like that a lot.
Me too.
You can do that. And they could all go the same direction, or you could alternate them. There's so many different ways that you can turn these patterns into different things, right?
This one's my favorite. I like this one best.
I use this one quite a lot because, again, there's so many different ways that you can do it. Right?
So since you've learned the new patterns and things, do you have a different favorite, like Zentangle pattern?
There is one that I really want to explore more that I didn't really, didn't really embrace it right away. And that's often the case, right? You sometimes have to try patterns several times before you get the feel for it and learn to love it. Called Kufia. Don't ask me what that one's, why they called it that. I forget what the story is on that one. But it didn't come easy to me. And so that's often assigned to me that I just need to practice it more. And so that's one that I do want to practice a little bit more. Amazingly, the more, as it started to grow, I did start to like it more. So I did do a bit of comparanoia and looked at my neighbors and mine doesn't look as pretty as hers, or it was Maria that was drawing it. And of course hers looks brilliant and lovely and gorgeous. And I'm like, no, it doesn't look anything like that. But once it all came together, it was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I do like that one. But I literally have only drawn it that one time. So I haven't had time since I got home to explore them. So that's one that I'll be playing with some more for sure. And Yeah, there's a whole new concept they came out with called nomads that I quite haven't wrapped my head around, and I know I'm not the only one. There's been lots of discussions online about it, so so that one definitely I don't feel comfortable teaching yet, so I need to explore that a little bit more. It's kind of using fragments in a different way, and some of us just haven't figured out how to make it happen.
Fair.
So I might be challenged that one with that one a little bit later. Look how cool those are.
Really awesome.
Okay. And then once you've done that, you want to try and find a spot that you can throw your chop, your initials into. I love the smile on your face when you're looking at that one.
It's so fun.
Okay. The white is a lacy look, right? It's a little bit otherworldly, a little bit unique for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're stunning just like that, but we're going to add a little bit of glow with the white chalk or the white charcoal. This one is actually a chalk pastel. Generals makes a charcoal pencil and a chalk pastel. And for some reason, in one kit you get one, and another kit you get another. Which one did you get? Does it say charcoal or just generals?
I think just general.
Just like that one? Yeah.
Yeah,
So, same. So that's the one that comes with this kit, but then I think it might be either the tan or the gray comes with the charcoal, white charcoal. Yeah. They're similar but different.
Is there one you prefer working with over the other?
Kind of depends. Yeah, sometimes I'll find one works better on color than the other, and don't ask me which one. I think it's the charcoal that I find works better. So sometimes I switch between them for sure. And then sometimes even I'll use a white colored pencil instead of the chalky, dusty kind of things that we have here, and that's kind of interesting too. So with the white pencil, if I were to go and look at Tortica, Tortica could get a little bit of highlight right in the middle, is often how I do it. Sometimes I will highlight the divider lines, so the grid lines instead, but I often just put a little bit right in the middle. I don't think I did anything to that one. I put in the middle. And so that's kind of my go-to. So I'm just going to put it with the side of the pencil, because you don't want to scrape away the gel. So I always kind of use this side. Just a little bit. And your eye will be drawn to those spots. So this is the reverse of graphite, right? Graphite shades, the white pencil highlights. So anywhere we put the white pencil, you're going to be drawn to that highlight. And then I'm just going to soften it up with my tortillon, again using kind of the side of it.
So you said sometimes you put it in the middle and sometimes you put it on the side. Is it just like how you're feeling?
Exactly. Yeah. Just like shading, right? Shading's a real personal kind of preference, and every time you draw a pattern, you might shade it a little bit differently. With the white, it's highlighting, and same thing, you might highlight it differently depending on how you're feeling. So, yeah, it's definitely a feel. And then I'm going to try something with the black pen because I didn't bring the pencils out, just to show you how you can also add some black to it. If we had our graphite pencils, you could add some shading in different places too, right? It's always fun. I'm with the Diva Dance going to just go where it overlaps. And if I had my graphite, you could put a shadow down, to separate those two spaces. I'm going to try it with the black pen, and I'm just going to go outside that line a little bit, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then you can decide if you want to do it. So it kind of erases the white. Or go over top. And again, you sometimes have to clean your pen off after that. You see how right under there, right? Now it would make sense for me to run and grab my pencil. And what I would do is put a little pencil there and bring it out a little bit. And so then you'd get that real layered kind of look on top of it, right? Now, I don't often put white on top of Diva Dance because there's already so much going on, right? It's like, ugh, I don't think it really needs it. Maybe though, if my orbs are big enough, I might do a little C inside the orbs just to shade them a little bit, almost like a little pearl. Let's see if I can do it. These are pretty tiny.
You're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
So they're pretty small, so it's hard to do anything too much there. And again, with my black though, I could go really close and erase some of that white right up along. And that might fix it a little bit. On the other side of the C, and that might fix that just a little bit, right? So if I put too much white in there, I go back in with the black, and it just makes it pop a little bit. Okay? Okay. Something else we can do with the black, like I said, is to erase some of the really solid white lines. So I could do it in my Diva Dance if I wanted to be kind of fun. I could put some dots in my Diva Dance.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that fun? Or in my droop, I could do some lines.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you can get really creative with the black pen too. And maybe I don't want to do all of them. Maybe I just want to do every second one. But it acts a bit like an eraser. And again, you do, sometimes it'll pick up the gel. So you might want to clean it up a little bit. And then the last thing I kind of do with droop is kind of go down the center with the side of the white, keeping the outer edges black. And it's going to give it a little bit of a rounded look. So keeping the edges black because I want that to look shaded. And using the sides so that I don't scrape the gel. And when I soften that up, it's going to make these look like almost like tubes. Now the thing about the white pencil is with the oils on your skin, if you're touching your towels a lot, it's going to kind of melt. But you can revisit it, like you can go back in with it at any time, right? So I do tend to put these towels into a binder of some kind and not handle them, but if they get handled a lot, you can always go back in them. But look how that pops those.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That's insane.
I
It
know.
looks 3D.
I know, right?
Oh wow.
Doesn't it make them curve?
Yeah.
Right? And so if you want that flat flower look, don't do that, right? Like you just want to leave them the way it is. But if you want this kind of tubular look to it, by leaving the outer edges black and just using the white to highlight, then you get that curved kind of look. And then the last thing I'd probably do on these guys is you're already seeing it where the emergence of all, that's not the word I'm looking for, where they all overlap, all the lines overlap. You're already seeing that white dot, right? And so if I use my pencil kind of right there where they're all converging, that's the word I was looking for. You know, when you get old, you start forgetting your words.
I forget words.
I was about to say that.
We were talking about that.
Were you?
We were talking about getting old.
Oh,
Because
you
we were
guys are
listening to
just
the
young.
radio and
You're
they were
just
talking about stuff. We were like, we're almost 30. Oh my goodness.
That's supposed to happen till later. You guys are still too young. So then, and then smooth it out, and then that just really makes those pop too.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Oh wow.
Or you could put the white on the petals themselves, right? That we made, or in the background. So there's just so many ways, depending on what you want to pop, that you can use the white pencil, right? So on this bales, I did it on the petals, and it makes it look lacy, right? Here I did it on the intersections. I haven't done a background. That one I did on the petals too. But yeah, if you were to do the background instead, then the black pops. So it just depends on what you want.
The white is so
It's
cool.
super.
It makes it look like illuminated.
It really
Yeah.
does,
It's really cool.
The white's really fun on colored paper too. So I bought myself some red paper, just cardstock from the dollar store.
Yeah.
But nice cardstock, and a nice feel to it, had a good weight to it, cut it into different shapes, and the white pen on that at Valentine's Day.
Oh,
It was really, yeah, it was really cool. I made some really pretty little tiles with it.
That's so awesome.
And then pretty shades, right? Turn it around. Look at that cool little piece of art you made today. And check in, see how you're feeling, right?
This one reminds me of like mountains and a sun for some reason.
Yeah, totally, because of the rays that you did on it, I think, right? And that's, again, the beauty of abstract art, right? Is everyone perceives and sees things different.
Mm-hmm.
You interpret different. You draw different, right? And it can be whatever you want it to be. And your bales look so different than mine. Like, I'm just seeing such different texture on yours than mine. Just, again, the way that your grid was drawn, how you draw your leaf or your shapes on it, right? And then you look at Rachelle's, and hers looks totally different.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Right?
That's
Because she
awesome.
went smaller, right? And so you get a different effect.
Oh, that's so
Okay.
fun. I love that.
We're gonna have to get a picture of all three of those
Yes.
together.
Yes, yeah.
Eh?
That looks awesome.
It really does.
You,
Yeah.
so does yours.
I know, they're beautiful. Good job, ladies.
Good
Okay.
work, team.